upbeat this time.
Welcome. Bullshirt podcast.
This is in Danish. You really should have left that.
Old man noises.
Should have left that playing. It's infinitely more interesting than this podcast. Oh God. Sorry, I'm recovering from a cold.
Oh
God, Jesus. Okay, hold on.
All right. Holding on there. Oh.
You all right there, buddy? Are you good? You all right?
Oh boy, right, I tell you what.
I think Doug still has his headphones pulled out of his ears.
Chew a little bit of popcorn into a hot mic and he gets all fucking spicy. We're ready.
You put in chat, let me know when the pork rind chewing is complete.
I know, like you can't tell the difference between pork rinds and popcorn. So
you got to get more practice listening to someone chew.
It was ASMR. So that's all. I was soothing you with the sounds of crunching air popcorn or something.
So, I like it.
I figured you would.
I feel like ASMR is just this big inside joke that I don't get because it does nothing for me.
I have ran across a couple that like actually were like, makes the hair stand up in the back of your neck. One of them was just a woman. She's a voice actor and she does like the sleeping stuff, like to help you sleep. And I will admit she had a very soothing voice. Oh, yeah, let me just give me better. Like that better?
Yeah, I think that's better.
Okay, so that's good to know that the popcorn in his ears was.
It was like loud, extra loud. Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm in a new apartment. I'm in a much smaller room than I was before. So, probably did have my gain bumped last time.
Yeah, Dan's doing this in the bathroom now.
Yeah, I'm in my walk-in closet.
Yeah, he downsized, so he's got some shirts hanging behind him for the sound dampening.
For the sound dampening, yeah. These work polos do an amazing job.
Is this the bodily function ASMR podcast?
It might be. He missed the entire first part of the podcast.
Sure, I did. We'll go with that.
You did. We're in 4 minutes and 21 seconds.
Yeah, I would say I still didn't miss anything.
No, you missed some very important stuff.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Hey, guys.
Didn't miss it.
Right, I hate it when my parents argue, so I'm going to change the subject like I do when anything causes me discomfort.
Causes me pain. I'm going to deflect it.
Yeah. So I watched the Hunt for Red October yesterday.
There you go.
Brand new movie. Yeah, it just came out.
I'd never seen it.
Spoiler alert.
I was laughing when Sean Connery told Alec Baldwin, be careful where you point that gun in this submarine. I feel like that was a bit of foreshadowing by old Sean Connery there.
I feel like there's a good place to point a gun anywhere.
Most things in here don't react well to bullets.
Yeah, and then Alec Baldwin did his Sean Connery impression, mocking him, which I thought was really fucking funny.
Yeah, that was the funny part for me.
I also like the Scottish Russian tank or Russian submarine captain. Yeah. He didn't even try to do a Russian accent for the movie. No. He's just like, fuck it.
Like, that's because I'm Sean Connery.
Sean Connery is a movie star. There are actors, and then there are movie stars. movie stars do not let acting get in the way of a role.
Well, I would say Leonardo DiCaprio is a movie star who at least attempts
He
to
does attempt,
fall
yeah.
into the role. He put on a
He,
little bit of a southern accent in Django.
He was great in that movie.
He's
Yeah,
an
he was.
actor. He is a true blue actor. He's not Daniel Day Lewis or anything, but he brings a lot of intensity to a role. I mean, that whole thing in Django where they're sitting there and they're filming a scene and he bangs his hand on the table for dramatic effect and then fucks up and hits a glass, slices his hand, and then just grabs a rag and then just keeps on with the fucking scene. And they left it in because the performance was good.
So you're saying there's a difference between like a movie star and a really famous actor, and that the movie star just wants to be themselves all the time.
Basically, it's like, they play, no matter what you put them in, they play the same character in every movie.
Like The Rock or
like Seth Rogen.
Like the Rock, Seth Rogen, fucking Cage.
Sylvester Stallone, and
there you
God
go.
knows how many other motherfuckers.
Yeah, Hot Tub Pineapple Express Machine.
There you go. By the way, Adam, I just got your joke.
Oh, good.
I just got the Alec Baldwin joke.
It's because Alec, yeah.
Yeah, I just got that. That went. I didn't get it, and then Doug did his impression, and then it clicked. Foreshadowing.
Right.
Got it.
Very far into the future.
Very, very far foreshadowing. Got it.
Yep.
It was a banger.
Oh, that's Doug Bait. That's my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
Yes. I will just put that movie on and just watch it. I never claimed it was a cinematic masterpiece. It's not the best acting thing. It's not blah, blah, blah. I just love the fucking movie.
But have you seen Titanic 2 by the Asylum?
No.
Yeah, see, that's the best movie ever made. If anyone makes good movies, it's The Asylum.
Sure, we'll go with that.
You'll never guess what happens to Titanic 2.
Let me guess. It sinks.
Well, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it, okay? People in the audience might want to see Titanic 2.
No, your mom does not want to see Titanic 2.
There's more. I listen to the podcast too, Dan.
You don't want to see Titanic 2. You've already seen it.
And maybe I want to see it again.
I doubt it.
I like the car chase where the cars that are chasing each other change mid-scene because their rental ran out.
It's that kind of production company, huh?
Yeah, they make a lot of like mockbusters that are. It's like they're specifically made to trick like your grandma into getting the movie instead of the real one.
Yeah,
like The Day the Earth Stopped and Transmorphers. Shit like that. Yeah, they're all really bad, but
my favorite value DVD collection from Walmart.
Are those the same people that brought you Atlantic Rim?
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah, I love that movie too. It sucks.
God damn it.
See?
I love it because it sucks.
Yeah, you would.
Like father, like son.
Yeah. I especially love the Mystery Science Theater 3000 version of it, where when they popped on the screen, they sang "Go Go Dollar Rangers."
They make good stuff. They make good stuff.
I don't think they do. I think we just established that they really don't.
Well, you're talking to the... I mean, look at my Steam library, man.
Fair enough.
If something bad exists, I'm going to enjoy it.
It's like the simulator.
Yeah.
What's the dumbest simulator game you own?
I returned it. It was the wanking simulator.
Was it real enough for you?
It was really bad. I think Doug played that one.
Yep. It is seriously fucked up.
Yeah. The worst one I own. Let's see now. I don't own any super bad simulators.
So let's hold up. Let's not just gloss over Wanking Simulator. Okay, we're not just gonna Wanking Simulator and then just move on to something.
I mean, to be
Explain.
fair, the gameplay's only like 30 seconds at best.
Ha.
Well, if you use the arrow keys, 30 seconds at best. If you use WASD, it's a little longer.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because you got to use your left hand.
Stranger in the tub.
So I can't remember how the gameplay worked, but it had something to do with you would increase your power by jerking off. But the whole game took place in public, so you were jerking off in public, and the cops would come after you. So you would power up by jerking off in front of them, and then run away. It was like the game wasn't done.
Yeah, it
That was,
Imagine
was
that.
in a weird state. The physics were broken, and when the collision mechanics came on, people, went all over the place.
Yeah, that's the problem with the game is the collision mechanics and the.
Yeah, I really hated the gameplay loop, which is just it wasn't captivating enough. That was the real problem. Yeah,
the storyline sucked.
Not to mention you had to wait a little while between levels.
Yeah, you got to wait like 30 minutes on the loading screen to
minimum take a nap,
next level. Smoke a cigarette, come back to it.
So here's a question for you, for everybody here. What are? I think we lost Doug.
Yeah, he went yellow. I think we did.
Doug, are you there? Are you typing, Doug? Is that you typing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, he's good.
What's weird is I got an alert that I lost connection to the server.
Yeah. And we see that you're yellow and we don't see your waveform, but we could hear you typing.
You'll be good. It's being saved. We're fine.
So anyway, here's my question to all of you. What are your goals for the future? Yeah, that's what I thought.
I feel like I'm at H&R Block right now.
And I'm wondering if it's...
When did I step into the fucking Type A podcast? What kind of bullshit is that?
The Type A, so you have to be Type A to care about your future.
Well, it's like you can care about your future, but the people that are obsessed with it and they're like, you need to be better, you need to self-empower, you need to work out this, you need to wake up at
productivity.
You need to wake up at fucking 4:30 and go run 27 miles and eat half a cow before you go to work and all that bullshit. I can't stand those people.
I disagree. I don't think that that's, but I think you're conflating two different things. I think thinking about your future or having future plans is different than what you're describing. I don't think anybody actually likes the type of people that you're describing. I don't think they even like themselves, obviously. I'm just saying,
but Doug also doesn't like them.
But Doug also doesn't like them.
Yeah, I really don't like them.
He doesn't.
But I'm just saying, in 10 years, where would you like to be, or where do you see yourself for 15 years, whatever the case is?
15 years, I'd like to be in the middle of nowhere, away from all the people, living in a small home with a music studio and making music, and that being my job.
Okay. See, and that's what I was talking about. And I was asking because it's a long story, it's a rabbit hole, but I was thinking about the fact that I don't really think about the future. And I started wondering if it's like an ADHD thing, if it's just a me thing. I mean, like Adam, I would love to, in 15 years, I would love to live on some property somewhere away from people and be able to support myself somehow. And that's about as far as it goes. I know all these people that have these really, and they're not the Type A people like Doug was explaining. They're just normal people that have these life goals. And I was like, I don't really have any life goals. I'm not like, I want to own a boat and travel the world and blah, blah, blah. Some days I'm just happy that I get up every morning and go to work. And feed myself. Like
my short term goals right now are to be able to feel my hands and feet.
Fair enough. That's a good. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that. But it's fucked up that immediately made me laugh.
Everything's kind of clouded by that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, in my personal experience, it's just that you can make all the plans that you want. You can try real hard. You can work towards those goals, what have you. But life will wipe its ass with that all fucking day long. So
okay, so now we see why Doug doesn't have any plans.
I make A, B choices. Most of the time I got option A, option B. This is the choose your own adventure book of Doug's life. I want to do this. I will go to page 134 and then read from there. I'm just saying.
No, and I think that honestly, joke aside, that you're clinically depressed. I think there's a nugget of truth there, right? Or that I can relate to that. That I've had throughout my life. I've had so many plans, or I've had enough hardships that I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I take life a little kind of day by day, those A/B choices, right? I mean, you get to a point in your life and it's like, okay, do I go left? Do I go right? And you hope you make the right decision. That's not to say that I don't have some long-term goals. And Doug, you have long-term goals. We've talked about it. You've said that you would love to move to Florida and own like a little bait shop or something someday, right?
Well, not own a bait shop, work at a bait shop.
Gotcha.
But
okay.
Not necessarily Florida. It just somewhere with a beach, because Florida is looking less and less and less like a good option. See, at one time, it was a good option, and
right.
I'm not talking about politics, even though that's fucking weird in Florida, but more than anything else, it seems like nature has decided, fuck Florida in particular, because they just keep getting hammered year after year after year, to the point where if I was to buy a house there right now, I could afford a house right there. I mean, a house there right now.
Yeah, but good luck getting insurance.
You won't get insurance on it. So, no. So it will be somewhere else that has a beach and a bait shop, and I can go saltwater fishing.
Yeah, and I don't, this is another rabbit hole, but, we look at stuff like that, like the way Florida's getting pounded, and we've only been tracking weather for what? I mean, a few hundred years, maybe? Like, really tracking it. And there's a thing they call basically space weather, which is like, how things that happen in space and how it affects the planet and stuff like that. I'm not saying I don't believe like in global warming or whatever, because I kind of do, but shit could just be happening that happens every 2 million years, and we just don't fucking know it yet.
Yeah, it's like the Doppler effect.
Get out.
But no,
like Doppler radar.
There is some truth to that. When you have magnetic shifting of the poles, when you have a rotational axis change, I think those occur around every 12,000 years or so, something like that.
So they think, right? I mean, we don't know, but that's
right. It's like with where our understanding is now, but that sort of thing, as far as rotational axis change, it changes a lot of stuff, and the shifting of the poles also causes a lot of weird stuff. It's not so much the shifting of the poles themselves. It's the mechanism that causes that shit to happen.
I just want to hear you say shifting the poles again.
Hey, Dan. Want to
yes.
shift my pole?
Ooh. My magnetic field just moved.
I bet
I
your
don't know.
axis twisted too.
Don't twist your axis up, boy. But yeah, I understand what you're saying about Florida and it not looking as uh, lovely as it used to. But yeah, I mean, and for me, yeah, I'd like to live on property. I'd like to have property that I can let my ADHD just fucking go crazy and cut little roads and buy a little bobcat and like build shit. I basically want to go do Sons of the Forest out in my own woods.
So you want your own sandbox game IRL?
Yeah, pretty much I do. Yeah, absolutely. But it was just weird. I don't remember if I was reading something or watching something, and I started thinking, Jesus Christ, I don't like. Is there something wrong with me that I don't have these like hardcore goals that I'm working towards, or you know something? I don't know. So I thought I'd ask you guys and see, because you guys have never really talked to me about long term goals or anything. Um, Other than Doug and I have talked a little bit. I figured Adams was that's basically what Adams was, and if I had to guess, I'd say Robbie wouldn't mind living, in the middle of nowhere with some property. So basically, what we all
We
we
all want
all
to live
agree that
very far from each other.
we hate people and want to live very far from each other.
Just start a commune and
Mm.
go from there.
We have talked about with Juan. Actually, he's talked about buying a large chunk of property and then breaking some off for everybody he knows. And he's like, at least that way I can control my neighbors. I was like, I mean, you're not wrong. If you put yourself in the middle and then put all your friends around you, your friends have to deal with the assholes on the outside. So
The buffer.
yeah, exactly.
That's also automatic reinforcements.
Right.
I'm just saying because
right.
the 90s, 2000s, all of that stuff. Everybody, everything sort of went zombie obsessed, and prepping in the whole nine
Hell
yards,
yeah.
and what we
Hell
do
yeah.
in the event of the zombie apocalypse. If that's your zombie apocalypse plan, is to make yourself a compound and then break places off for your friends. That's not necessarily a bad strategy.
No, I mean, if nothing ever happens, great. You've lived next to people that you like, and you know that nobody's gonna do anything fucking too dumb, or at least not dumb that you're used to. Um, but I'm a bit of a prepper. I've talked about this before that I hate the term prepper because it's kind of not demonized, but like I don't know what you'd call it. You say that and you think of like that show that they used to have on A&E or something, Preppers, and it was always the hardcore toothless. They're putting fluoride in the water, fucking aluminum foil hat.
Well, by the
Vaccine's
same
gonna inject
token,
those nanobots and
Yeah, exactly.
well, and by the same token, there's collectors and there's hoarders.
Yeah,
It's there.
exactly. Yeah, I
So
mean,
there's different ends of the spectrum, and
absolutely.
and what you're just talking
Yeah,
about.
look at this podcast.
That's not the spectrum he's talking about, Adam.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
and it's with the whole prepper thing. Unless you take it to extremes, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's you're still preparing for the future, and some would even call that optimism. If you do anything that you're preparing for future events, those are considered optimistic.
That I could even get through that future events are going to allow
Happen.
for human life. Yeah. And for me, I do, I haven't gotten any yet, but I've looked into like the meal prep, the food packets, whatever they are, and I've looked into like Faraday cage type stuff. And I think really for me, my not argument, but like when somebody's like, "Oh, I think prepping's crazy" or whatever, I say, "Well, if you didn't pay any attention to COVID and the lockdowns, and really see how fragile our infrastructure really is, I don't think you were paying attention. I mean, you couldn't get food, you couldn't get toilet paper. Adam, during like kind of the beginning of it, one day he's like, "Hey man, I'm going to go to Walmart after work. Do you want to go?" I said, "Yeah." And prior to this, I had no real concerns about COVID or like the infrastructure at the time, whatever. So we go to Walmart, and that's when I started getting a little sketchy because like the fucking shelves are bare. Like you couldn't find a can of mushroom soup, and there were people like running through the aisles like all wild eyed with masks on and gloves up to their elbows, and you know, like I said, just no food. That's when I got the meat log, the CP1 meat log. It was this
Giggity.
giant, like, I don't know, 2 foot long tube
I
of
remember
ground beef, and it's
that.
just all they had. And I was like, "Ugh, I'm gonna buy this meat log."
Well, I,
Um,
I had one of those for a hot minute,
yeah.
and yeah, it's if you need to cook beef in bulk, it's not bad. Um, but I mean, it's not bad stuff. It's just
No, it
a,
wasn't
a lot of it, and it's commercially prepared as opposed to being prepared by your butcher, which
local.
doesn't make
Yeah.
it any better, make it any worse.
No, I didn't think
Uh,
so.
but if there's going to be ground beef that's subject to recall, those are usually
That's
pretty high on the
yep,
list.
yep,
That's the
exactly.
real right.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a 10 pound log actually, which is actually 5 pounds less than CP1. Um, but yeah, I mean it sufficed. But it was just a reminder, and you saw how you couldn't get anything, and what you could get was super expensive, and that was just some bullshit flu going around. I mean,
Well,
so
look at it like this: you had the um, the ransomware attack on the
the
pipeline
oil pipeline, yeah.
that runs the East Coast. Now, what they said at the outset of that is we should have enough gas to get us through X amount of days unless there is a run on gas. And because they said that last phrase and people panicked,
Yep.
uh, then there a gas shortage happened. People made it happen.
Well, and that right, and I think the same thing happened like with toilet paper and paper towels. People were like, "We're gonna run out of toilet paper and paper towels," and all of a sudden, everybody right, everybody went and grabbed them. And then guys like me, I'd go to the store and I'd pick up paper towels and toilet paper, even though I had some at home. Why did you do that, Dan? Well, because everybody keeps buying it up, and so if I don't buy any now, I'm not gonna have any in 2 weeks. So right, you forced me to hoard fucking toilet paper. Like you can use a rag,
Yeah,
dude. Right? I'm like,
we see
calm
this.
down.
We see this in North Carolina about every 7 years when they say there's going to be a gas shortage, which causes the gas shortage because everyone goes and buys fucking gas.
Yeah, it's and that was the thing. So you talk about that ransomware, right? And when you are prepping and you're researching shit, of course the algorithms get weird and they take you down again goofy rabbit holes that I don't really buy into. But there was
Except on
one,
Amazon.
right? So there was this guy who was talking, and he's a he like what do they call? He like models this type of stuff. Like he watches current events and then creates predictions and shit based off of that. And they actually he was involved when COVID started. People were hitting him up, and I think I want to say Outbreak or one of those movies was an Outbreak. Anyway, one of those movies actually used him as a consultant, and it's the one that's like super. I think it's got Gwyneth Paltrow and Matt Damon in it, and it's like super realistic. But anyway,
Iron Man.
yeah, that was it. That was it. Iron Man 3, and he's talking about ransomware and the banking industry, and he's talking about the system that the banking industry uses to transfer money in between itself. And they all use like this same system. And he talked about if somebody could get into the banking system and basically just throw a stick into the wheel, right? You don't have to shut it down completely, but just fuck it up pretty good. And if you think about it, most people don't have any cash money on them. Most of their money is in the bank and it's virtual. It's not cash, it's not gold, it's not real. It's numbers, it's zeros and ones. And he talks about being able to freeze up a large chunk of the nation's money. He's like, you go to the store, your card it's declined, it doesn't work, or the system. Like if you, excuse me, if you've ever gone to the grocery store and they've got a piece of paper over the card reader and it says, hey, our system's down, we only accept cash right now. I walked out of a store one day because I was like, well, shit, I don't have any cash on me. Well, what if every store you went to was like that? What if every gas station you went to was like that? What the hell would you do? And he was, and I think I told you guys this about the $1,000 per person per household. He says, if you can have $1,000 per person per household cash somewhere in your home. And that made a lot of sense to me because if I can go to the store, if I need medicine, if I need my meds, I'm on antidepressants. If I can't get my antidepressants, but if I can go
cheer up, man.
Just cheer up, man. But I think my depressant antidepressants are a couple bucks a piece after insurance. So it's like literally like $2 and $3, whatever. So I could pay cash for that. If you needed cold medicine or you needed gas, I could pay cash for that. And people are like, yeah, but if it keeps going and then cash is useless. Bruh, if that happens, you got bigger problems. Like worrying about your debit card at that point. If the point where cash is no longer viable, and
your debit card's been fucked already.
Right. At that point, you need to board up your windows and wait for the oncoming riots. But having some cash. And that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like, I don't think there's going to be a zombie apocalypse. And even though I'm fucking around with Faraday cages and stuff, I'm not that concerned about a large-scale EMP attack or anything crazy like that. But we live in a world where a cyber attack can really fuck things up for a while, probably not permanently, but just like with that pipeline, if they had been able to shut that down for weeks, right, you would have had a nasty gas problem, nasty gas shortage, whatever.
It was about 14 days.
Was it that long?
In. Adam, correct me.
Yeah, I think it was 14.2 days.
14.2 days. Yeah.
14.2375 days.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's repeating.
Pi times 3 or something. Yeah.
It was at least a fortnight.
I think the way to
shut up.
I think the way to go would be just to get super into ham radio because it's offline, it's decentralized. There's no way to hit one point and take out all of the ham radio network because it's all just dudes.
So it's funny you say that because I own a couple of ham radios. And that is exactly why. I've got a friend that I work with who is a huge ham radio nut. Like, I can't explain how big into this shit he's in. And that's one of the things we talk about. And you can do data over ham radio now. And I don't remember what the protocol is called. But you can send like short messages and stuff like that. And you're absolutely right. And that's kind of why I was looking into the Faraday cage, was to stash a couple of ham radios and like a little charger or something, like one of those hand crank chargers.
I was reading about the data transfer stuff that you're talking about, where you modulate it basically over the air. And there's like predetermined bands for that, but I don't think it's ham radio at that point. I think it's a different band. It's like bacon radio or something like that. But
I wish I could hit you right now. I really wish I could hit you right now.
You could.
I could, but it would by the time I got there, just like
you'd stop being mad halfway here.
You're on the plane and be like, God damn it, I'm not mad anymore. Walk in your house, just be like, what was that for? Fuck, I don't remember, but I was on a plane for something. Yeah, it's and that's the kind of stuff I think about. It's just we've become such a digital fucking world. And I don't know, Adam, if you've ever seen this. This movie probably came out the year you were born, but it's called The Net with Sandra Bullock.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's not a great movie.
Yeah, but Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, she's pretty fucking hot. The premise was good. Like, I liked the idea of it, you know. She's a computer hacker, quote unquote, and she pisses off the wrong people. She finds some shit, pisses off the wrong people, and they basically just start to erase her. They get rid of her driver's license, her social security card, like just everything. And it probably seemed kind of far-fetched then, but fuck now. Like, if you locked up the right systems, you could do that to a person. You could, because everything's fucking digital, you know?
No, please don't erase all my debt. No, that would be horrible.
Oh no, my credit card's gone out of the system.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there would be some pluses and minuses to that, right?
I've seen, like, I don't know how to say it. I know of that movie, but I've never watched it.
Right, I get you.
Yeah. So the last time I saw it was at a Blockbuster.
When he says that she was a hacker in the movie, she found like a hidden link on a
Praetorian
page at the bottom of her Netscape Navigator browser.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was like I said, not a good movie. Like I don't.
That sounds like my kind of movie.
You would probably love it just out of irony.
I fucking love bad movies, dude. I don't know why. They're so good.
I like bad sci-fi, so I can't really say anything.
Have you ever seen I think it was another Asylum movie where they were trying to get it on the X versus Y sci-fi thing, and it was like a giant Komodo versus, I can't remember what it was now. It was like a giant cobra versus a giant Komodo dragon.
No, but I never got into any of that stuff. The X versus Y.
Yeah, that stuff was so funny, dude. I loved it.
Old Sci-Fi Network back in the day.
Dude, Sci-Fi Network back in the day was fucking awesome.
They used to roll that movie all the time.
Yeah, I've probably seen it then or know of it. Because I remember when the Sci-Fi Channel launched, I was in Columbus. And we had just gotten cable through Wide Open West. And it was that and 1 meg internet, buddy. That's right. 1 meg internet.
Well,
always on.
Always on.
Always on 1 meg internet.
Well, when every web page isn't 80 gigs fucking big,
right.
1 meg's probably pretty fast.
Oh, dude, that was a cool. Well, I mean, the alternative was dial-up, right? At 128 maybe or something like that.
Yeah, we had dial-up for a long time when I was a kid. Like YouTube was getting big, and we still had dial-up.
Well, were you in Carolinas or West Virginia at that point?
I was in North Carolina, but we were just kind of in the middle of nowhere at the time.
Gotcha.
So like
little net zero action.
I can't remember what it was. I remember having to go to Walmart and get the Walmart internet disc.
Hell yeah!
The 30-day trial. We would just grab like 10 of them and leave.
Yep.
But yeah, so I was trying to watch, like, the internet was blowing past dial-up, so I was trying to like watch videos and stuff.
A little,
and it would take like 3 hours for the video to load, and then I could watch it
one chunk at a time.
Yeah, I'd watch 10 seconds of it, and I'd have to wait.
Back when porn pics would load from top to bottom, and you'd be jerking off and be done before the whole fucking picture got like, the tits came out, and you're just done.
And then you had the troll that would post the pics where the bottom half was like a cock.
I don't remember that. No.
Yeah. That was a thing, dude. Back in my day.
Transgender porn.
I think you were into some of the weird sites, bud.
No. It was so funny, dude. They got everyone so good.
Yeah. No. I don't. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think you were looking at tranny porn.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Because like kink shaming, whatever you're into. I mean,
right. I mean, I don't care. Chicks
don't
with
have to
dicks,
lie about it.
Dudes.
It's
with
just
boobs.
like I don't think that's. I think it was like a troll.
No.
Yeah.
All I gotta say is, back in those days, I got sent several photos as jokes of somebody that had something in between their legs they could have used to hit baseballs with.
Right? You're like, damn, not only like you're a transvestite, but you're a transvestite with an 18-inch cock. Like, what? That's just cruel, you know?
They called her tripod.
They called her tripod. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just want to make sure that everybody knows. Ah, what was that? Scary sounding.
I think it was my ice maker.
Yeah. Ice
that reminds me of the Daryl Davis story. I don't know if you guys remember hearing about that.
No.
All right. Anyway, how you liking Starfield, Robbie?
It is quite a few stars. I have gone into the field.
A couple fields.
Good.
Yeah. It's I don't think I'm on the level of that meme I saw where the guy like spawned 10 million potatoes in a vault. But
I love that it's just Fallout in space.
Yeah, pretty much, and it's pretty much the same engine that Fallout 3, 4, 76, Element OP all used.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. It's just I'm not really big on Fallout, so I don't know what I expected. I mean, it's Bethesda. Of course, it was going to be like that. But I was like, really? I'm literally walking out of a vault at the beginning of the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
It's like you're in like a space base thing in the side of like a rock, and then you wake up and leave.
Okay.
After creating your character.
Yeah, 30 minutes of creating your character. And
then you go into first person, classic Fallout.
Oh, you can move to third person in this game. It's really moving you can up move into.
There's 2 third person angles.
Wouldn't that be like sixth person?
Yeah, it's an encounter of the 5th kind.
Yeah, I mean that sounds right to me. 3 and 3 is 6.
First
this
person
is basic
square.
math, all right? This is basic math. I'm not.
No, if it's second person, that's like I'm writing a letter to you.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, did his own research.
Yeah, look it up.
Looking.
What?
Yeah,
checks out.
Was
checks
that noise?
I think that was Robbie's ice maker again filling up with water. It sounded like.
It took a dump, and now it's topping itself off.
Yeah, it dumped ice, and now it's filling up with water.
Robbie and the haunted ice maker.
I might top myself off later, actually.
So how do you guys feel about Liberty safes just letting the FBI into their safes?
I think it's some bullshit, personally. I've been allegedly looking for a gun safe.
For what?
If I ever replace the guns that I lost in the boating accident, I would want to keep them safe. But I've never liked the idea of the digital ones. I'm just not a fan of them. I wanted one of the old, tumbler type. But I never thought about the fact that they would have some kind of quote unquote master code that could fucking open all of them. Right.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah.
That's fucking scary. Yeah. And now like the FBI has that code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think my guess is that Liberty probably cut their own fucking throat with that, honestly, because you saw what rednecks did when they boycotted fucking Bud Light, $400 million in damage.
Really?
Most of them already have one. I doubt they're going to say, let me make another, anywhere between 750 and God knows how much dollar investment to get one of these gigantic gun safes.
You underestimate rednecks, bud, because if you remember, they did that with Yeti coolers, and some of those things are a couple $1,000. And these assholes, when Yeti, I don't even remember what the fuck Yeti did, but they did
said
the whole.
They didn't support the NRA or something like that. Yeah, or they did. something to do with guns.
I think you're right. I think they decided they didn't support the NRA. That got out, and there were rednecks everywhere, literally blowing them up or shooting them, putting tannerite in them, and then going out and buying like other like Arctic and stuff like that. So yeah, I think some will actually, but what's going to hurt them is people moving forward and not not purchasing their products, again, or upgrading or telling their friends or whatever. So I told Adam right now would be a real bad time to own Liberty stock, but probably a really good time to buy Liberty stock, assuming they bounce back.
Yeah.
But yeah, they kind of alienated their core consumer demographic, right? It was an odd move.
Yeah, because they could have just said no.
Yeah, I mean, Apple said
made
no.
Made them get a subpoena or something. Because Liberty came out and said, they didn't bring us a subpoena. They brought us a search warrant, and we gave them the code to unlock the safe.
A search warrant for someone else. That would be like them serving a search warrant on Doug and then coming to us and being like, "Hey, give us some incriminating evidence on Doug. We have a warrant." Yeah, for Doug, not for me. So yeah, it was concerning, and listen, I know the guy they were investigating was allegedly one of the January 6th rioters and all that shit. I'm not defending him. I'm not defending criminals. I'm just saying that companies like that should stay the fuck out of it. Once you sell something, stay the fuck out of it. That's between the FBI and that dude. And that would be me as a company. It would just be like, hey, that's between y'all. That's between y'all. Y'all do whatever the fuck you need to do. And like I said, you can use Apple as an example of that. They were like, hey, get into this phone. And Apple's like, no. And but we're the FBI. I don't care. But
all right, what we never thought you would just say no to us.
Right?
Oh, and shit, that just fucks our plans up all.
Like, God damn it! They said no. Oh my
what do we
God.
do now?
My fucking God.
Well, and Apple came in and said, we didn't build any backdoor, but I do believe that if the manufacturer of a phone, if you gave them the phone, I think they could get into it, honestly. Because I think somebody,
like if you're buying a digital safe, you're pretty naive to think that the manufacturer doesn't have a backdoor or master key or combination to get into it.
Well, like I said, that was one of those things I never thought about with the digital safe. I just never. I mean, now it seems stupid that I didn't think about that. Like, well, duh. But at the time, it was just if that thing malfunctions and it's an electronic. I mean, we work with electronics. We know.
Right, but at the same time, it could be mechanical, and a lot of the mechanical ones will also turn around and have a key. So if someone from the manufacturer gave them a master key,
right, a physical key, yeah, and even with tumblers, I mean, with the tumblers, if you were to go get a true locksmith or whatever, or somebody who does that, they can break into it still, right? They can listen to it. And I mean, there's ways of getting past tumblers too.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I think with this, it was just the fact that the manufacturer did it. And it's like, why would you do that, man?
I mean, the FBI probably could have gotten, I mean, I follow this guy, Deviant Olaf. He does a lot of like physical security stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And someone at his company came up with a device that'll let them get into these safes because the code is stored on like a ROM in the lock.
That makes sense.
And it reads that and then compares what you put into that, and then so they just hook up this fucking thing to dump the ROM and look at what the code is.
And that makes sense. And that's and if the FBI had done that with a search warrant, if they'd have gotten a company to come and do it, totally different. It's the fact that the manufacturer was just like, yep, here you go. It's like, well, I don't want to, put anything in your safes when you're that quick to just give it up, But I guess I don't look at, there are a lot of people out there, it's the people that say, well, if he didn't have nothing to hide, why didn't he just comply with the police? Well, because sometimes the police are being dicks, right? And why didn't he just comply with the FBI? Because there have been instances where the FBI overreached and did shit they weren't supposed to do.
So, and it's not just the FBI, for the record.
No, it's just the FBI.
Pretty much all modern television programming that involves cop shows works to be kind of propaganda. Anybody
propaganda.
That's what they call it. Propaganda.
Like yeah, and it is true. No, you're right. You're right. Well, it's true.
If anyone's had any real interactions with the police where you not just being friends with one, but where you engage them in a professional capacity, because you've spent all of these years watching television shows or movies that resolve anywhere between 30 minutes, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and the whole thing's wrapped up. So it's like, say for instance, somebody drives by your house, and I know somebody that this happened to. Somebody drives by your house, and for whatever reason, they take a shot at your house, and bullet goes through the window, lodges itself in a wall. Now, you've seen God knows how many cop movies, and you think, oh, well, they can run comparative ballistics on this thing and totally track down this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody, they went through all the trouble of cutting out the drywall, digging the bullet out of the wall to give it to the cop. And when they handed it to the cop looked at them like they had, just stepped foot off of the UFO, because they were like, great, but it's in. I get that you've seen TV shows and everything, but in order for that to work, we have to have something to compare it to. We don't have this giant database. Oh, that's Steve Smith's gun or some dumb shit like that.
but at the same time, there were some riots, and I don't remember where this was at or what the reasoning was. It may have been during like the Black Lives Matter stuff or whatever. But somebody set fire to a cop car, right? And they had some footage of it because, everybody's got their phones out. And they were able to track this woman down by her shirt. So they found her shirt. They ran that through just like pretty standard Google searches, found the website that sold the shirt, did like a subpoena, found who had bought that shirt in this neighborhood, yada, yada, yada. And then we're able to go find her and match her to the video and realize it was her. So it just goes to show that if cops care enough, they can do a lot of stuff. It's just a matter of making them give a fuck.
Well, you'd be surprised at how much security has evolved in that situation. Like, my ex worked in security at a college, and the software they use to monitor the, hundreds of cameras had some AI features where it could track people around campus just based on shirts or their face or
like pop them different, like follow them through cameras, like different.
Yep.
I got what you're saying. Okay.
It would basically search through all the recordings and find that exact person and just, hey, here's the 10-second clip of where they were at this building, and then they moved to this camera, and so on and so forth.
And that's just going to get more and more sophisticated as time goes on,
And that's just a college campus with a very small budget for that kind of situation.
Right. Versus government entities. And what was that movie with Gene Hackman and maybe Will Smith? Wasn't Enemy of the State, was it?
Born Identity.
I hate you and Doug today. You know that? I hate both of you.
Oh, sorry. I meant Born Supremacy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, see, that's all you had to say. You didn't need to be funny. You could have just told me what the actual movie was. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think it was Enemy of the State, and that's kind of the shtick of that movie is the where surveillance has gone over the last, and that movie's probably 20 years old at this point. But then I call the cops to tell them that I have video of a guy crawling up under my garage door and looking in my garage, and they're like, and? I'm
Dude,
like,
the first thing they asked me when these crackheads got in my garage and stole all my shit was the dollar amount of everything that was stolen, so they would know how many resources to allocate to finding it.
Right.
I was like, you guys fucking blow, bro. Like, this is why no one wants to pay taxes.
Right. This is why people don't like police. And I mean, whatever. It is what it is. They're their own little fucking mafia. I still think they should privatize police departments, but it's never going to happen.
Then we'll have RoboCop.
Fuck yes. See, that's what I'm going for. RoboCop.
I don't know. My last employer had a robot security thing that patrolled the garage parking lots, and it was worthless.
So pretty much like a human cop, but
less, just more expensive,
less PTSD. So
security in most places is pretty useless. They're like, "Hey, really stop doing that, please."
Yeah, they can't do anything anymore. At risk of getting sued. So it's
just all about observation. Like one of the more efficient prison designs that was ever made. They just basically they built the prison as just this big tube cylinder with all the cells along the wall. They put a guard tower in the middle. That way, whoever's in the guard tower can watch all the occupants. And that's all they had to do because the people, because they knew they were going to be in full view of the guards all the time, changed their behavior.
Interesting. Well, I don't plan on ever going to prison, but
nobody ever does. Well, some people do, I guess.
I think some people kind of know they're going. Yeah, exactly. On the other hand, some people don't. So,
yeah, everyone in prison's innocent, anyways.
Just ask them. I'm too cute for prison.
No, you're not.
You'd fuck me.
I'd fuck anything.
Oh yeah, that is true. But hey, you know what? I'm not gonna turn my nose up to it. So a hole's a hole.
It's a funny thing. All we want to do is to eat, drink, be happy. What do we get? Disgrace.